Hello, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Ife Bamidele and today is World Braille Day. The World Braille Day is an international day, a United Nations International Day to show awareness about the Braille. 1 billion people worldwide live with disabilities, and about 248 million of those are visually impaired. About 45 million people across the world are blind, and 1.13 million of those people are in Nigeria. About 4 million people who live in Nigeria are visually impaired. These persons are at risk of poverty, neglect, and abuse of their human rights. The World Braille Day was approved and has been observed by the United Nations since 2019 to raise awareness of the importance of the Braille as a means of communication in realization of human rights for the blind and partially sighted people. What then is a Braille? A Braille is a representation of alphabetic and numerical symbols using 6 dots to represent each letter and number. And in fact, it even helps with musical, mathematical, and scientific symbols. And that is why you find out that people may be visually impaired or blind, and they're able to play musical instruments. They're able to read Braille books, and they're able to communicate having read those books. The Braille is named after a French person, a Frenchman named Louis Braille. The Braille is used to read the same books that we read. Whilst ours may be printed, you are able to see the names, the numbers, the figures, the letters. The Braille book is represented with tactile representation, like embossed dots. It helps with education, freedom of expression, and opinion, as well as social inclusion for persons who are blind or visually impaired. The story of Louis Braille is a very interesting one. Born in 1809, and then he was wounded in the eye at 3-year-old. One eye at first, and then shortly after he was wounded, he had blindness in the other eye. And in the space of 1 year, he became totally blind. Louis Braille had a visitor in their school, and it was taught by somebody who had worked in the French army about a code that was used to communicate silently at night. He worked on that code, and because he was not satisfied with the approach or communications level that he had at that time, he wanted to improve on it. Louis Braille improved on this method of communication silently at night by military people, and today we have the Braille. What is the importance of the Braille? It helps for literacy, an alternative means of communication, inclusive education for persons who are unable to see like you can, and then it also helps for inclusivity and equality. For us to be able to recognize the challenge that blind people face and to be able to give as much support as possible, things like the Braille and every support equipment must be utilized in educational institutions, in libraries, and in every place where we want growth and inclusion. Although today we also have audiobooks, speech to text, nonetheless, the Braille is still a very important way of training on teaching people with visual impairment and blind people. Today is the World Braille Day, and I do hope that you will have compassion for someone who requires a Braille to be able to read, to be able to learn, and to be included in society. Yesterday, I called for support amongst my friends and good people of goodwill, asking them to join me to donate Braille books to a school for the blind near me. I got loads of support from good people. Worthy of mention is Professor Boyega Babalola, Ashiwaju Dear Kolola Foundation, Olubumi Fatiregun, Chinwendu Okoye, the Drug Free Club, the AIPC, Olga Okewulon Uchiazo, Opeoluwa Folayan, Olabode Olanusi, the Mike Bamidele Foundation, and a lot of other people who have committed themselves to ensuring that people who require Braille books get them. So I will be donating Braille books to a school for the blind near me. And I'm going to be asking you to do the same thing. Look for a school for the blind near you and donate a Braille book. It was very, very hard, almost very impossible for me to find access to Braille books. This shows the challenge that persons who are visually impaired face. I had a lot of people who asked on my behalf. I went on all social media platforms and all I could get was one seller. I'm still waiting for the Braille books, and as soon as the Braille books are delivered, I will carry you along with the presentation of the books to the School of the Blind. If you also want to be a part of this, you can contact me on Twitter at ifebamidele and let me know where you would like to donate your Braille books, or whether you would like to donate Braille books to a School for the Blind, either by donating it personally or by asking me to donate on your behalf. You can buy a Braille book and send to me, or you can also donate Braille books and you can also send resource to a School for the Blind around you for them to be included. The World Braille Day is important. We're raising awareness for the importance of the Braille as a means of communication and realization of human rights for the blind and partially sighted people. Encourage someone around you to be educated. Encourage someone around you to be informed. Encourage somebody who is visually impaired and who may require a Braille to be able to read. Today is World Braille Day. It's a beautiful day, and we can encourage people. We can make the Braille accessible, information accessible to persons who are visually impaired or who are blind. Thank you to all those who have supported. Thank you to all those who have sent money for the Braille books and those who are going to send Braille books to a School for the Blind near them. It's been a fun time speaking to you, and I do hope that today at least you learned something new. It's World Braille Day. Show compassion to someone who is visually impaired or someone who is blind today. Buy a Braille book or learn about the Braille. Have a wonderful day.